Alright, welcome back guys. This might be a really long video I think, but I'm doing it for you guys because for this video we are going through every single unit in the game and I'll be telling you the best runes for it, in my opinion anyways, and other options as well. So let's get right into it, since this might take a while. Oh wait, it's monsters, isn't it? Yep. Alright, so starting off we have Kona, right? So for him, I run Swift runes on him, right? Because on his first cast, he's 0, which is super efficient for cycling me, for cycling through my deck. So that's why I run my Swift. But another option is that you can also run him Energy Rune to put him in the front line to tank. Because naturally he's pretty tanky. Like right now, mine's level 13. He has 5,416 HP. Therefore, if you were to run Energy Rune on him, he could easily be 7k HP. So do keep that in mind. Swift runes, I run Swift on him, but energy is also an option if you want a tank. Next we have Tez, of course, with a Fire Crush. So for Tez, I like to run Fatal runes for more consistent damage, but also Blade is also an option. I do see people run Blade because Tez passive, Elemental Keen. He will always have the elemental advantage when attacking you, therefore his damage is increased, his crit rate is increased as well. But the crit rate doesn't really increase by that much because his base crit rate is 15%, right? I mean, if you have runes for it, and you were able to get his crit rate up to like around maybe 35%ish above, it might be worth it to run Blade Rune because Blade Rune will give you an additional 20%. So adding on top of that, you can get him to 55%, and then that's when you add the elemental advantage on top of that. He should probably be around 70%. So that will be a time to use Blade Rune if you have a good set of Blade Runes with crit percentage on it. But for Tez though, I would recommend running Fatal. Fatal is just more consistent DPS. There isn't let me get that real quick. You know, we out here trying to. Alright, nice. Alright. Back to the video. I lost my spot. Alright, Tez, right? Okay, so again, let me just a quick recap. I run Fatal Rune on him personally because it's more consistent DPS. I don't have to worry about him critting, and if he does crit, wow, that is great. That is extra damage for me. But normally I run a Fatal just for more consistent DPS. I don't have to rely on him critting to kill someone. Next, we have Gan, right? So for Gan, I run him Swift Rune. Okay, alright, hear me out. I run him Swift Rune because he's at 4 cost, and running him at a 3 cost allows me to play quite aggressively in early game. But of course, you could run something else. As you can see right now, his base attack is pretty low, 265. So I wouldn't recommend you running Fatal on him. Fatal will only give him a little bit more damage, but it's not enough. So for him, I would recommend running Swift runes. But if you don't want to run Swift, other runes such as Will and Energy Rune is also good as well. Like this guy, he has plenty of options for runing. Even you can even run Focus on him too, delaying his debuffs much more. So that's an option too. But for him personally, I run Swift Rune just so I can play aggressively in the early game. Alright, next we have Art. So Art, I run him as okay. Well, first let's take a look. Right, his base stat is pretty low, 248, and his HP is 4,522. So let's check out his skills. Right, attacks a forefront enemy to remove beneficial effect, granting an enemy inflicts damage proportional to your defense. Okay, you know what that means? Clearly, his skill is scaling with defense, therefore we run him with guard. Look at his base defense, 302. You put guards on this guy, his defense can easily go up to 500. So that is why for Art, I highly prefer you to run guard. I don't think you would run him with another rune for any other situation. Yeah, but yeah, primarily focus on guard for him, 100%, because that scales with his ability. Next, we have Eleanor. Alright, so for Eleanor, I like energy runes because her skill scales with energy. The more HP she has, the more healing she does. So that's quite obvious, right? So for her, I do primarily run her energy runes. But then again, secondary option, Swift runes. For some of my comps that I had run in the past, I run her Swift Rune because I didn't care about the healing she gives. I only care about the cleanse. Therefore, if you're running a team that don't care about healing too much, yeah, for sure run Swift. Because Swift allows you to cast her at it's a 3 cost cleanse. That is pretty nice. And of course we have a horse form. Nothing too special. Same thing, you know. Alright, next we have Kamoon. Kamoon. He scales with HP on his skill. Therefore, 100% run him energy. I can't think of another situation where you wouldn't want to run energy. So I'm pretty sure you want to run energy on Kamoon here. Next we have Hwa. So for Hwa, attacks the enemy with the lowest HP to inflict damage, burns the opponent's summer mana by 2 if the enemy gets defeated from this skill. So for Hwa, fatal. 100% fatal here. I personally run Hwa on fatal because look at her base attack, 339. She has a really high base attack. Therefore, once you do apply fatal, you can easily get her to 500 base attack. So Blade is also an option, right, guys? Again, like I said, if you have a good Blade set that has crit rate on it, Blade is also an option because if you were to crit, you obviously deal more damage than the fatal runes. So Blade is definitely an option, but thing is, Blade is not really reliable because then again, it's not consistent damage. Fatal is consistent; it will always hit for that much. So we don't have to rely on crit rate. Same like I discussed it with Tez, is the same thing. So personally, I prefer Fatal, but then again, some people might prefer Blade or something else. Alright, so we have Chloe here. With the power of God, grants invincibility on all allies. So for Chloe, if you were to use her tanking, like if you were to put her frontline, honestly it depends on where you put her. Honestly, if you put her in the front line, running Energy Rune is a pretty good option, right? And also another option is running resist runes, which is endure, I think. Let me check the runes. Yep, endure. So you can also run that rune as well. Because look at my code right now. 83.8% resist. It's a really good counter against Soas or Poseidons or anything like that. It's very good. It does resist a debuff quite a bit. So do keep that in mind. But if you have the purple stone for her, create a shield that is equivalent to 20% of your max HP on yourself when you're attacked with a critical hit. I would run energy runes because then again you get a benefit from this. So if I'm running this, the purple stone for the mana shield, I would definitely run her energy runes because she chained up with Camille is quite nice. Camille hit her own ally, and naturally Camille has a high crit chance. Therefore, if she were to crit on Chloe, it will proc her shield too. So interesting tip for you guys right there. So Lapis, all right, Lapis. All right, you already know Lapis, fatal runes all the way. All right, dude. Steals the magic power from the frontline enemies. They grant shield and portion to the damage dealt. So obviously, the more damage you deal, that's why we're using fatal. The bigger the shield we get. So I run fatal on her. Personal preference. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do not have the 25% damage on my account, so I would definitely run her fatal. Again, she should apply same thing with Hwa and Tez. If you have a good set of crit runes with high percentage crit rate, definitely use her. Alright, Lushen. Attacks all enemy with a powerful card magic. This attack ignores the target's defense. So, for Lushen, I run Fatal for consistent damage. But, I have seen other people run Crit, run Blade, and Rage. So, when's a good time to run Blade? Same thing, if you have a nice set of Blade Rune with high percentage crit rate, I would definitely run it. But if you have Rage Rune increase crit damage. So if you have a good set of Rage Runes that has high crit rate, that is even better than the Blade Rune. So I would consider using Rage because currently there's you can chain that up with Camille. Camille gives you a 20% crit rate if you were to use her. Therefore, it does help you out. It does increase your crit by 20%. And if you already have a high crit rate, you can use a rage set to rely on that because the rage set does give you a huge increase in your damage if you were to crit. So Lushen, Fatal, Blade, and Rage. Those are 3 great options depending on what substats you have on each rune. So understand that. We have Jeanne. Jeanne attacks a forefront enemy to inflict damage and stun. Recovers HP of the lowest HP of the ally with the lowest HP by 25% and grants Protector on yourself. Let me see protect skills with anything. Okay, never mind. It doesn't scale with anything. So, okay, so she is one of those units. Her skill doesn't scale with anything, so she has a lot of options for runes, right? You can use a will for immunity if you're dealing with a lot of DOT comps or a lot of stun comps in front line. You can use Jeanne for immunity for 90 seconds. Also, you can run her energy rune. Personally, I'm pretty sure a lot of people run her energy rune because she's a tank, therefore higher HP. She has a decent base HP of 4,700 at level 12. So if you were to run energy rune, you can easily get that 6k. So for personal preference, I do run her energy rune as a tank, of course, but there is other options. There's other runes option as well you can run. Let me just double check. Rage, Focus, Violent, Vampire, Blade. Yeah, for sure. For sure, I would definitely run Energy Rune or Will. Those would be the option for sure. Rip, I did not mean to get out my screen. Alright, let's go to Targros? Targros. I probably pronounced his name wrong, so whatever. For him, right? Attacks a forefront enemy with powerful fire to stun the target. So him, crit. I'm not crit, sorry. Fatal. Look at his damage. 365. Alright, dude, that is high base attack. I'll definitely run a Fatal. Fatal will definitely give him the huge boost since he does pure damage. So 100% Fatal here. Same thing, a Fatal or crit depending on what good rune sets you have is fine. But definitely Fatal more though. Orion, right? Harmless Prank. Shuffle the enemy cards and random grant beneficial effect removal. Alright, so this card 100% focus. Focus runes. Alright, because we need accuracy. We need accuracy so we can lay in our debuffs and also effect removal. Effect removal, there's a chance for it to land it. Therefore, we need focus runes to increase our chance of granting beneficial effect removal. That is probably the best skill, the best debuff on Orion right now is that and the stun. So do keep that in mind. Focus 100% here, guys. Can't go wrong with focus. Alright, Megan. Grant acceleration and attack 2-up on all allies. So for her, Swift runes, of course, she's a buffer. With Swift on her, she'll be a 2 cost, which allows super fast early game cycling. So personally, for Megan, I run Swift runes. Can't go wrong. Ramagos. Let's see. Attacks a forefront enemy to inflict damage and recover your HP. Oh yeah, of course, Ramagos. I know Ramagos. I didn't even read it. Ramagos, HP runes, guys. HP energy runes all the way. All right, it makes sense, right? More energy, that means more health. More health, that means when the lesser the health is, the more damage. Makes perfect sense. Therefore, Ramagos energy. I don't see a reason why you want to run anything else besides energy on Ramagos. So energy, that's it. That's the only set you need for Ramagos. Racuni. Alright. Attacks a forefront enemy to inflict damage and grants mana cost down. Alright, so he's an interesting unit, right? I currently run him with Swift. Having him at 1 cost allows me to cycle through my early game much faster, and the fact is that he reduced mana of my highest unit, which is Lushen. Therefore, he's putting my Lushen at a 1 cost lower, allows me to easily spam him a lot more in early game. So for Racuni, I run Swift. Okay, if you look at his base stats right now, you can already tell. His attack is 285, so running Fatal on him won't actually increase his attack by much. If I were other options for Racuni, if you don't want to run Swift runes, if you're not looking for that early cycling, you can also run him on Endure runes. Having him on high resist is good because Racuni is more of a frontline unit. Therefore, having him high resist the Poseidon or any debuff is really good. But personally, again, I use Swift. Lucia recovers the HP of the ally with the lowest HP ratio of Rune Heart. The recovery amount increases according to your attack. Oh, nice! They added that. I don't think they added the recovery amount increase according to your attack before, unless I was blind and couldn't read it. But yeah, so run her fatal. Look at her. She's level 12, 200, 302. She has a really nice base attack already. So definitely run her fatal runes to increase her healing. Pretty sure you will want to run her fatal runes. I don't think of any other possible situation where you want to run something else. So fatal, 100% here. Fynn, right? So attacks the forefront enemy and affect continuous damage for 9 seconds. Alright, so you already know it. Blade runes 100%. If you land a crit on his last hit, you stunned him. You freezed him. As you can see, my Fynn, he has a purple skill stone, which increases crit by 35%. So therefore, with the crit rune, he's at an 80.4% crit rate. And if I were to train that with Camille, it gives him a 100% chance to crit. So I'm guaranteed to stun the next guy he hits. So he's pretty good. 100% run him crit. Hey, yo, but not gonna lie though, look at his base attack, 390. If you don't have good crit runes, running fatal honestly is not a bad deal either, because his base attack is pretty high. But then again, crit first. Crit is preferred on him. We have Bernard. Grants a celebration to all allies with tailwind. Obviously, Swift runes. I don't think. Yeah, Swift runes 100% here, guys. Faster cycling. Him at 1 cost in the early game. I mean, that's a good deal, dude. Take it. Swift runes on this guy, 100%. Pep talk. We got here. Oh, Shannon. Shannon. Swift runes, of course. Same thing. Faster cycling through your deck. Having her at your hand in the beginning for 1 cost, dude. That's a good deal. I'll definitely take Swift on her, 100%. 100%. All right. Camille. So for Camille, affects damage on all enemies and grants credit rate up. The damage increase according to your max HP. So according to my max HP, energy runes. You have to run it. I don't see you not running energy runes on her. Sure, her skill scales with energy runes. Therefore, 100% would run it. Would run the energy rune. But then again, the only time that I can see you not wanting to run energy is that you're not looking for her to clean up like the enemy. If you're fighting, you're not looking for DPS on her, right? You're just looking to use her for the crit rate up buff, which I can understand. So therefore, if you were to use that, I would definitely focus on either on resistant runes or will. These are 2 other option runes that's good for her if you're not looking to do some real DPS with energy runes. So now we have I can't pronounce her name, so let's just call her Sleeping Chick. So Sleeping Chick here, delayed promise. The curse of the desert puts the backline enemy to sleep. Alright, that's a pretty powerful spell. Does counter the Lushen meta currently. So do keep an eye out. So for runes, I run her Swift. I personally run her Swift because as you can see, I have the purple skill stone. So I reduce her mana down to 3. And if you put Swift on it, that's a 2 cost sleep I can apply to your back line. So this allows me to counter a lot of the backline plays such as Nikki, Tez, Lushen, or Lapis, or anything. If they want to use that early, boom, 2 mana cost, slap a sleep on you. Pretty easy. Then again, if you don't, if you do not want to run Swift runes, the other option is Focus runes. Of course, Focus rune allows for a sleep debuff to land 30%, 30% more higher chance to land it. So Focus secondary if you don't want to use Swift. Honestly, it's up to you. Personal preference. Verd. So for Verd, I run him Fatal Runes because damage, right? I mean, his base attack 326. That's not too bad. Oh wait, actually, I take that back. Do not run him Fatal. Run him Focus. I forgot he applies Blood Ring as a debuff. Yeah, run him Focus. We want to make sure when we use Verd, we want to make sure he can get the Blood Ring off. Therefore, our team can heal off of it. So Focus 100%. I wouldn't see a reason why you wouldn't want to run Focus on him. He's not there really for like I mean, he does decent single DPS, but he's not made for it. He's made for AoE team healing. So definitely run Focus runes on him. We have Soa, right? Soa, all right. 100% focus. I don't like, again, 100% focus, right? Because if you use her, she's a 4 cost. She's not cheap. She's expensive. If you use her and you fail to steal a buff, you might be in some trouble, yo. You are down 4 mana and you didn't get jack shit from because the enemy resists you. Yeah, that's a problem. So 100% runner focus, right? Getting that extra 30% chance to land to steal the debuff is huge. So definitely get her focus. Copper. Alright, dude, you already know it. I published a video on Copper Smash, so I know all about Copper. In and out, 100% guard runes. Can't go wrong with it. If you don't go guard runes, there's something wrong with you guys. 100% guard rune. Alright, Copper scales with guard. More defense, more survivability, more defense, more damage. You can't go wrong with guard runes here. 100% guard. Sophia. Damn, okay. Alright, anyways, I should probably say focus. Oh, Spinny Slash. Attacks a forefront enemy 5 times, with each having a fixed chance to grant defense down. So, I would run Fatal here. 100% Fatal. Because, if you were to apply the defense down, that would increase your attacks damage, which your Fatal increase your attack, which gives you more consistent damage when she does land a defense down, right? So that's why I run Fatal on her. But there are exceptions of when I do run Blade. So for example, in one of my decks in my video, right, I run a Lapis and a Sophia. Lapis base attack is pretty low, is not as high as Sophia's. Therefore, the Giant Warrior proc will go on Sophia if I run Sophia on Fatal. So in order to avoid that, I run Sophia on Blade so the Giant Warrior proc can go on my Lapis. So that is an example of when I do use Sophia on Blade. But overall, you want Sophia on Fatal. She works best with it. We have Kahli here, right? Attacks a forefront enemy to inflict powerful damage and ignores defense. Alright, ignores defense. Look at her attack. 383, that is huge. Fatal, 100%. You put that Fatal on her, she can scale up to 600 attack easily. So Fatal, 100%, because she ignores defense as well, right? So you're guaranteed to do extra damage. So you definitely want to run Fatal for the consistent damage. Blade is a bit risky here. I mean, actually, I wouldn't be too sure about Blade. But again, if you have a high crit rate Blade, it's okay. But I personally, I prefer Fatal. We have Baretta here. Alright, you already know Baretta. Focus runes all the way. You want to land dots. Alright, if you run Fatal on Baretta or Blade, you ain't gonna do shit. Alright, these dot don't crit, guys. So you want focus. You want to land these. You want to land these debuffs for sure, 100%. Alright, so next we have Kun. I can't pronounce the name. Whatever. Let's call him Ice Golem. Alright, guys. Ice Golem. So Ice Golem, we have. I mean, just look at his stats. You can already guess it, right? 100%. Actually, not 100%. You could run him in energy runes for more tankiness if you prefer. But if you want him to land his debuff much quicker, focus also an option. But the thing is, a lot of people in higher elo I've seen, they run him with Swift runes because it gives him a good chance to counter the Pernas and these frontline units that use their spells. So honestly, he's not bad with Swift runes. I think Swift rune is the current meta to run him on, but you can also run him on energy if you're not planning to use the skill, just want him to be more tanky. Next we have Mokhan. I think I said her name right. Melody of Life, evenly match a percentage of HP of all allies and remove harmful effect. Okay, there's no scaling here. She's changing your HP. Therefore, I would pretty sure here you would want either Will, so she don't get she don't get stunned, so you can cleanse on time. Will, even resist runes would be good. Endure runes good, so of course avoid CC, and along with energy. Actually, no, I wouldn't run her energy runes honestly. Will and endure rune has much more value here, 100%. So these are the 2 runes I would use for her. We have Mav. Duty change removes inability effects granted on a forefront enemy, grants defense up 2, and on the side change of position with the ally. Alright, so for Mav, I personally run him energy runes in my comp for my AoE healing comp. I think I run Mav in. I run him energy rune because, like I said, 40,800 level 11 map. That's a pretty high base HP he has there. So 100% run him energy runes. You can also, I don't know about guard, but you can also run him guard as when Mav does use his skill, he does apply defense up, which increases your defense by 20%. And the higher your defense is, the more value you get out of that buff. But personally, I use energy runes. Hellhound, Seek, I think that's what you call him. So Hellhound, okay, I run him. I mean, dude, look at it. He has the highest base attack in the game, 396, fatal, 100%. You really can't go wrong here. Fatal, 100% fatal here, dude. He will deal a shitload of damage. Uh, Roid. All right, so I don't think he's good. But I mean, if you are using him in your deck, I mean, more power to you, I guess. You know, trying to make new meta here. I respect that. But if I were to rune him, actually I don't know. I never touched him before. The damage increase according to obviously, skill scales with HP. Therefore, you do want energy runes on him. I don't see any other reason why not to run energy runes. So energy runes, I guess. All right, we have Perlia. Anyways, the Harpy girl, right? So attacks a 4/4 enemy and grant defense down. So fatal. I run fatal on her. I mean, running accuracy is not worth it because she is not there to apply defense down. She's there for heavy. She hits hard. All right. If you run fatal on her, she will hit like a truck. But yeah, I still wouldn't run accuracy, honestly, dude. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to land her defense down debuff. Her hitting that hard AoE smack with her whatever she got, it's way more, has way more value in my opinion. So personally, I run her fatal runes, guys. But Blaze is an option as well, but I run her fatal. Alright, we have Rakan. Grants immunity attack up on yourself and attacks a 4/4 enemy to inflict damage. The damage increase. Alright, obviously damage according to increase to max HP. You would want to run energy runes on him. He has high base energy, level 10, 4,435. That's pretty good. So 100% run energy runes on this guy. I don't think there is any reason to not run energy. So run energy rune, guys, is what I prefer. Alright, Poseidon. Alright, so he has two options here. You can run him energy if you're putting him as closer to your front line because he's a tank. If you want him to be a tank, you know, you run energy rune. But personally, for my Poseidon, I run focus because once you get into higher elo, people tend to have higher resist on their units, and it becomes harder to land your deceleration too. So if you don't land it, Poseidon's kind of useless here. So I'll definitely run focus on him if possible. If you're looking for a tank as well, all right, you should probably run energy. But normally, Poseidon do pretty well tanky with focus as well. Wusa grants immunity and shield on all allies. The shield amount increases according to your max HP. Energy runes, 100% energy runes. That gives you a higher shield. But then again, I have seen people use will on him because they don't want to get CC'd while they're using Wusa because that'll cost them a lot. And having a will rune, which, okay, if you don't know what will effect is, the will rune basically gives you immunity for 90 seconds. So it's very good if you don't want your Wusa to be interrupted on skill cast. So that's also an option, but normally you want energy rune on him. Ragdoll attacks the last enemy who uses a skill to infect and okay, 100. Okay, so most people they want to inflict the dragon gaze, right? They might run focus on him, but the thing is, Dragon's Eye, it does no damage. Like if you put that on my Lushen or something, I'll still use a skill. Like it's not gonna stop me from not using it because this thing does no damage. Like I have tested it and it does peanut damage. It's not a threat to me. So for him, I would run attack or crit rate runes depending on which rune you have. But crit rate attack rune, which is fatal, definitely has more consistent damage. So I will run him on fatal because you're most likely going to use him to deal that DPS to snipe the backline, not to apply Dragon's Gaze. Dragon's Gaze does no damage. It's peanut damage. So you will want to focus on just getting as much DPS down as possible on the unit you're focusing on. Okay, I need some water. Holy cow. Okay. Back to it. Nikki. So for Nikki, I run Fatal on her. So obviously more consistent damage. You run Fatal on her. Cast Teddy Bear spell on the back line. So more Fatal basically increases the damage of her Teddy Bear spell. But then again, there's another option, which is the accuracy runes. All right. Accuracy runes, which will give you 30% more accuracy if you were to run focus runes on her, which is pretty good. So then you can have 30% chance of higher to land your debuffs. Honestly, now I think about it, I'll actually prefer accuracy runes for her, because in this current meta, she's a great counter to Lushen. So if I were to get my Teddy Bear spell under Lushen, it will be huge, because Lushen can't do anything, right? Lushen is he's given two options: take the damage, huge chunk of his HP goes missing, or cleanse it and be stunned for a huge amount of his HP. So that is why for Nikki, I personally will run focus runes. But then again, Fatal is not a bad option. Alright, I can't pronounce his name, so let's call him Viking Guy. So Viking Guy leaves Brandy on the front line enemies and inflict damage that portends to max HP on the target. You run Energy Rune. Yeah, Energy Rune. That's it. I don't see anything else of not running Energy Rune on this guy. So Energy Runes, my personal preference right here. Doomsday. Meteor rates of Doomsdays fall on random enemies to inflict damage and to stun with a 30% chance. Stuns the enemy with a 100% chance if the enemy is under continuous damage. So then again, for him, he has high base attack. But personally, I would run him focus runes, because if you're running him with Baretta on a dot comp, okay, yeah, I will probably run Fatal, because then you don't need it. But if you are running him alone, I would run the accuracy runes, so we can have our stun be 60% chance of stun instead, which is pretty good. So, but then again, if you're running with Baretta, I run Fatal 100% here, because he does dish out heavy damage. In most cases, when it comes down to a 1v1, if the other guy can't stun you, and you were to chain, if you were to counter with Thrain here, you most likely one-shot that guy with Fatal runes, because he does some heavy damage. Kahli here. Him run Energy Runes. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't run him. She scales with HP, so more HP you have, obviously the more healing. So I'll definitely run Kahli with Energy Runes 100%. Perna. Alright, so guys, Perna here, right? I might have told you in the past that I run Perna on Energy Runes, but I take that all back, alright? Perna, I would run Focus, because recently I've found out that Focus still applies to her Eternal Flame. Therefore, I'll definitely run Focus to get that 30% extra boost to it, because Eternal, even though it might say fixed chance, it still takes into consideration of accuracy. So basically, how this works is that there is three layers that your debuff has to go through in order to land on the unit, right? So the first layer is fixed chance. So if the skill says a fixed chance, that means there's a certain random percentage of chance for that skill to land. So if it goes through fixed chance, then boom, it will land ignoring the resist. But if you fail the fixed chance, it will now go down into your second layer, which is your accuracy layer. It will apply your accuracy onto that skill, and then it's going to land on the unit. And then it'll go to the third layer. The third layer is the unit that you're trying to land a debuff on. Its resist, it's a percentage resist. So taking that into calculation, it'll give you a new percentage of what are the chances of you landing that. What are the chances of you landing that debuff on the unit? So do keep that in mind. That is how it works. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, because that's how it works in Summer's War. And with some testings, I'm pretty positive to say that's how it works as well. So keep that in mind. So focus runes on Perna, 100% focus. Don't run energy. You can if you want, but focus is much better here. Hwa Dan. Alright. Let's see this new unit we got here. Attacks the backline enemy and grants attack down. Stuns the target if the target has the deceleration effect. So, actually, hold up, let me level him to 8 real quick. I can't really tell based on base stat. Level 8 base stats. Yeah, it's a little bit wacky here. It's not that high on attack. HP's decent, I guess. Honestly, dude, for Hwa Dan, I might just run him focus, because we do want the higher chance to land his, because he lands debuffs, right? Attacks down and stun. Therefore, I would run him focus runes. I mean, I don't use them, but if I were to use them, I would run him focus runes. Oh, we're done. Finally, we are done. Alright, nice. So that will be all for the video today. If you have any more questions about what runes you should run if something was not clear, please leave a comment down below. And also, all these videos I've been making recently are all suggested by a user within a comment. So if you have a certain YouTube video you want me to make, a guide you want me to make, new decks, just leave a comment. I do read them and I do check them, and I will respond, and I will take those comments into consideration when making more content for you guys. So be sure to comment, like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And also, I will be streaming on Twitch soon, so my Twitch link is in the description. Please go follow it. I don't know what my schedule is, but I will be streaming soon. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. It's pretty late for me, so until next time, guys, peace.